All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest, maybe the biggest, financial journeys you'll ever take, buying your very first home. I know it can seem super complex, but we're going to break it all down into a clear, step-by-step guide. Let's get to it. So, you're dreaming of that first home, right? But where do you even start? For most people, that exciting dream can get buried pretty fast under this avalanche of questions and confusing terms. It feels overwhelming, doesn't it? Well, think of this as your map through that maze. So here's the plan. We've broken it down into a simple roadmap. We'll start with building your financial foundation. Then we'll figure out how to choose your mortgage path, navigate the actual buying process, and finally, cross that finish line. By the end, you're going to have a solid plan. Okay, first things first, and this is probably the most important part. Long before you even think about scrolling through those pretty house pictures online, the real work starts with your money. Getting this part right is what really sets you up for success.
And really, getting your finances in shape boils down to just 4 key things: setting a realistic budget, saving up for all the costs, checking in on your credit, and lowering your debt-to-income ratio. Let's break each one down.
Okay, let's talk budget. A really good rule of thumb to remember is the 25 to 28% rule. Basically, all your housing costs, and I mean everything, mortgage, interest, taxes, insurance, the whole shebang, it shouldn't be more than 25 to 28% of your gross monthly income. Your pay before taxes. This is how you avoid being house poor, where you have a great house, but no money left to actually live your life.
All right, next up, the down payment. You've probably heard the magic number, 20%. Now, can you buy a house with less? For sure. But here's why 20% is such a big deal. It lets you dodge something called private mortgage insurance, or PMI. Think of PMI as an extra monthly fee you have to pay that only protects the lender, not you. So avoiding it, that saves you a serious amount of cash over time.
Okay, let's get into some lingo you're going to hear a lot. DTI. It stands for debt-to-income ratio. And honestly, it's pretty much what it sounds like. Lenders take all your monthly debt payments, we're talking car loans, student loans, credit card bills, add them up, and then they divide that by your gross monthly income. It gives them a really quick snapshot of how much of your paycheck is already spoken for each month. And this is the number they're looking for. Generally, lenders want your DTI to be no higher than 43%. Some might stretch it to 50%, but anything about 43% is kind of a red flag for them. So what do you do if yours is high? The single best thing is to really focus on paying down your existing debt before you even apply. Just look at the difference here. When you have a healthy DTI, you can see there's plenty of room in your budget for a new mortgage payment. But when it's high, it shows your finances are already stretched pretty thin. This is literally what a lender sees, and it makes it way, way harder to get that loan approved. Your credit score? Oh man, this one is huge. Yeah, you can get a mortgage with a lower score, but if you really want the best interest rates, the ones that save you a ton of money, you should be aiming for a score of 760 or higher. Seriously, even a tiny difference in your interest rate can save you tens of thousands of dollars over the 30-year life of the loan. It is absolutely worth it to clean up your credit. And please, please don't forget this last piece of financial prep, an emergency fund. And listen, this is totally separate from your down payment savings. Once you own a home, things break. The water heater doesn't care if it's a good time for you. Having 3 to 6 months of living expenses tucked away is your safety net. It's what lets you sleep at night. Okay, so your finances are getting into shape. Now it's time to figure out the loan itself. And there's no one-size-fits-all mortgage, so it's really important to explore your options. The big 3 you'll run into are FHA, VA, and conventional loans. FHA loans, they're awesome if you don't have a huge down payment saved up. VA loans are an incredible benefit for service members and veterans, often with no down payment needed at all. And then conventional loans are kind of the standard choice, especially if you have a great credit score and that 20% down payment we talked about to avoid PMI. So what's your game plan here? Simple. First, look into your state and local assistance programs for first-time buyers. You'd be surprised what's out there. Second, do not just go with the first lender you find. Shop around. Get quotes from at least 3 different places. And third, you might want to consider a mortgage broker. Their whole job is to shop for the best loan for you, so they can be a huge help. All right, deep breath. Your finances are prepped, you know your loan options. Now we're getting to the fun part. Actually finding and buying your home. Okay, this is a super common point of confusion, so let's clear it up. Pre-qualification versus pre-approval. A pre-qualification is basically just a ballpark estimate. A pre-approval, that's the real deal. It means a lender has actually dug into your finances and has formally committed to lending you a specific amount. Walking into a negotiation with that pre-approval letter makes you a serious, powerful buyer.
And listen, you do not have to do this all by yourself. A great real estate agent, especially one who's worked with a lot of first-time buyers, is worth their weight in gold. They're your expert guide, your negotiator, and they'll help you navigate every single step of this crazy process.
Okay, if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Do not skip the home inspection. I mean it. It might cost you a few $100, but it can literally save you from buying a financial nightmare with a leaky roof or a cracked foundation. It is your single best piece of protection.
And just to be clear, the inspection is totally different from the appraisal. The inspection is for you to protect your investment. The appraisal? That's for the lender. All they're doing is making sure the house is actually worth the price you've agreed to pay so they feel safe lending you the money.
We're almost there. You're in the home stretch. You've put in all the hard work, and the finish line is in sight. Let's just talk about a few final words of wisdom to get you there. Look, this whole process can be an emotional roller coaster, for sure. You might find the perfect house and then lose it in a bidding war. The key is to just stay patient and, most importantly, stick to your budget. Don't let your emotions trick you into buying a house you can't truly afford. The right one will come along, I promise. So let's just boil it all down. What are the big takeaways? 1. Prepare your finances first. 2. Shop around for the best mortgage. 3. Get pre-approved to make your offers strong. 4. Hire pros to help you out. And 5. Always, always, always get that home inspection. And that's it. You now have the roadmap, the path from just dreaming about a home to actually holding the keys in your hand. It can feel long, but it is so, so achievable if you prepare. So now the only real question is, what's the very first step you're going to take?